Welcome back. I'm playing Warhammer 40,000 Battlesector, and we'll get started on our next multiplayer matchup. This time I am going to be playing the Firecast Outpost, Strategic Command, 2,000 points. I want to play around a little bit more with this map because I haven't seen it with all of its different objectives here, so I just want to see where everything is. I'm going to be playing as the Tau just to kind of keep it going since we do have this going, and we're going to go against the Adeptus Sororitas, 2,000 points, 80 point target with the 10 turn limit. Ideally I should have turned that down to an 8 turned, but I must have forgotten. So we got our guys deployed here. We're going to have the cadres, the fire warrior, obviously our ethereal. I've got 2 broadsides to use their missiles, and then 2 Ghost Neil, not what I was calling them before. Thank you to the subscriber that pointed that out, that I was mispronouncing it. I'm a little embarrassed to say how many times I thought they were meta guns and not melta guns either. That used to drive people freaking crazy as well. But I'm going to have kind of 2 forces, one on the left side here to capture those points on the left side, and the rest of the forces will be moving up towards the front here. So kind of our standard kit here, we have 1 Pathfinder, hopefully to be able to use their marker light, so that way I can get the free attacks with the missile launchers if he has guys in cover, the broadsides to use their missiles and then snipe out any heroes and the vehicles, and then the Ghost Neil to use their flamers and also then their anti-armor attacks.
Confirmed.
Fortunately I cannot capture that point, but I think I can if I bring him up. So we'll just bring these guys up here too. Now I think this is a bad positioning because the corners are kind of weird in this game. So I'd have to spend 2 points to move up 1, so I should have had them a little bit straighter than that, but it is what it is. We'll have these guys jump over this way.
On your word.
And we'll come up here. Now again, having these guys come here.
Awaiting a segment.
But ideally I should just keep advancing. In my mind I'm thinking, oh, maybe he's going to come and find me here. And I didn't want to quite get there, but obviously he's not going to be able to cross all that distance. Again, I'm just not overly familiar with this map, so I should have been way more aggressive with moving my troops up here.
Pathfinder team on the move.
Now the one guys that I think you can make a strong argument for that you shouldn't keep advancing are these broadsides, because they have such long range. And they can actually hit fairly regularly, so I'm going to keep them on Overwatch because they can shoot farther than they can actually see, which is weird. So he moved his guys around, can't see anything, he couldn't get his guys to capture points, so it's 10-0. And we know he's got Seraphim because you could hear their jetpacks there. And now unfortunately, because I can't cross the corners here because that's a slope, I'm now stuck kind of spending all these movement points going like this. And then I could take that corner on the other one, so it's like, oh, this is kind of ridiculous how I have these guys positioned here. And again, since I have moved them so poorly, it's like, well, I gotta have these guys stick together because I don't want to get taken out by the Seraphim, so we'll keep them like this.
Confirmed.
It's like I can move them all the way up there to capture another point. So I'm going to run up here. Hopefully I'll be able to see some units, which I can see. So he's got some Arcoflagellants here. If you end up using your stealth pack, you can't use your jump pack. And if you use the stealth pack before you capture a point, you'll lose your stealth permanently by doing that. So you just always got to make sure you get them where you want them to be here. And now that'll hold down that spot. We know he's got the Seraphim flying over on that side.
We serve the greater good.
So it's like I'd like to keep these guys alive.
Pathfinder team on the move.
So we'll just kind of bring guys up a little bit here, with the thought being that I can get guys close enough
To the front line.
to get the buffs with our ethereal.
Stealth team, reporting in.
But now it's like, oh yeah, I guess I am going to have this wonky corner thing going. Now, unfortunately, my movements are also kind of awkward here.
Moving to position.
It's like, let's just start buffing our guys up now, so everybody should be covered.
Of course.
Now the thing that's kind of interesting about these ethereals is when you buff your units, they don't get the buffs themselves unless you have a second ethereal buff them, so that's good to know. Unfortunately, the Arcos are getting used to
More targets will soon be
soak up the reaction fire there instead of the Paragon suits, which I definitely would have preferred because that would have been a much better use of those attacks. I do think the Paragons definitely make a decent force against the Tau, because they can then drop their rockets and take out Pathfinders or Breachers. And then obviously the Seraphim I think are always a really good choice too, especially with their Infernal Pistols because they can attack everything. So he's popping smoke over here. The Sacred Saints are always a good option too because they can take a good hit. The Arcos can be good as long as they don't get taken out by Flamers. Looks like he's strategically unloading his Rhino, so I can't snipe that down to blow it up and kill everybody. Now this was kind of a weird thing. It's like he wanted to start damaging the stealth suits, which I get, but I would have much rather killed those Pathfinders if I were him, because they're going to be able to do good amounts of damage. I mean, I know the stealth suits are freaking annoying because of their damage resist, but still, I think going with the other guys would be smarter. And then I think it would also be smarter if I would have had the Ghost here be in the front, because then I could use his Flamer attack. Otherwise I'm going to be flaming through my own units, so that's not great. Now the Paragons are both with their standard kits here.
Artillery standing by.
Chance to hit is pretty low. It's like I could put these guys up here, but then they're going to definitely get killed by everybody else that's going to be flanking them.
I am here.
It's like we'll use the stealth and we'll try to use these guys to explore so we can see those guys here, and they're way out of range. I can take out the Sister Superior.
How can I assist?
With his 100% chance to hit.
As you command.
So she's dead. So what I end up doing here is the missiles are a free attack. So it's like, well, maybe if I just move them up one,
Repositioning.
I can then do damage to these Arcos, which obviously works, but in my mind I'm like, well, surely the Cadres should be able to kill
Repositioning.
these weakened Arcoflagellants. So it's like, let's use the other missiles on these guys. And then we can snipe one of those down. Because their melee abilities are definitely something I need to be scared of. But I think it would have made way more sense for me to hold those missile attacks for the Seraphim, because the Seraphim are going to take damage and then they're going to be hard to kill, and then with all their evasion,
To the front line.
and the rest of my units here are going to have difficulty killing them.
For Viola.
And now it's like, oh shit, with all those attacks I can only kill 2 models of Arcoflagellants, so it's like, that's not great. And it's like 20% chance to hit, and it's like, oh, I bet he's getting momentum and defenses for
Cut them down.
every one of these guys that are getting hit with the rockets, so that's why his evasion is so high. And then you stack up the bonuses.
As you command.
On your word.
Bonuses with the smoke, and it does even more. And it's like, shit, And I see these guys back here, so I didn't see them originally. So ideally I would have liked to snipe one of them with the broadsides as well. But obviously I didn't know they were there, so that's unfortunate. I was thinking, well, maybe if I kill another Paragon and I snipe out the last one, I'll have totally taken out one of the suits, but I don't think that makes a lot of sense. So it's like, let's come back over this way, and then I should have a much better chance of hitting these Arcoflagellants over here, because they're going to be meleeing me here shortly by closing the distance. So we dropped 2 of them. And it's like, well, maybe I should just start taking out another one of these guys here. And do good damage. You almost kill one.
Orders acknowledged.
And now I'm just trying to figure out where I want these guys to go.
Activate stealth fields.
And it's like, well, maybe if I put the stealth field there, he'll try to charge down with somebody and I can get some reaction fire. And then hopefully this guy can just get the kills here. It's like you just gotta land 2 or 3 attacks and that should get the kill. So, alright, at least we've taken out one of those Arcoflagellants. But now that I know he's got a Hospitaller, which most players will, he'll just be able to heal all that damage I did to those Arcos. So all I effectively did is give him a bunch of free momentum, unfortunately. And then we'll just keep these guys with their reaction fire here. So he must have tried to move over there and took away his stealth, but it's still not totally clear to me why he got there. And I didn't realize that was an open spot. So now he's come down here and taken that from me. So that's unfortunate. He's got his other Seraphim getting ready to come down to fly. I'm not sure what's going on with his Rhino transport here. I assume he's trying to... Oh, he unloaded some Repentia. And this Hospitaller's moving up. Paragons are moving down. Sanker Saints are coming over. Healed up the Arcos. And now that he broke their cover, he's going to use the Seraphim to start shooting down my stealth suits here. Using their attacks to go there. Now, thankfully, with how he had positioned his guys by not moving the Arcos first, he ended up blocking his way so he couldn't take it back. So ideally, if that Hospitaller dies, I can then do a double flame attack with my commander, and that will allow me to kill 2 Seraphims, which is definitely a good use of points here. So it's like we'll get the evasion and the HP up, and we're going to pull him back, so what I don't want is for him to come over here and snipe me. So I bring this up, and now I find out that's freaking full cover. So it's like, shit, are you kidding me? So it's like, alright, well, what am I going to do here? It's like, I could come and flame here, but then I won't kill the Seraphim. I could flame through here. And damage these guys. But I also have to worry about these Paragons as well. It's like I got a 100% chance to hit. So I think what I should have done, in retrospect, is used their marker lights to put it on the hospital there, and then I could have just sniped her down with the missiles had I been thinking, but then I was like, I want to just kill these paragons right now.
To the front line. For Viola.
So we kill them.
To the front
And I
line.
pull these ones back to try to keep everybody alive.
For Viola.
Awaiting instructions.
But yeah, had I done the marker lights on that hospital there, I would have got the guaranteed kill with the rocket attacks. And then I could have used my commander to run down there and double flame the two
Stealth team reporting in.
Seraphim. Now he must have ran down here and gotten some attacks. So it's like, well, let's start running you over this way. He can have a zone of control attack, but now we can take this place under our control. Unfortunately, those Repentia will get rear attacks on them, so they're going to get a kill. So it's like, well, we got a 61% chance to hit here.
Firing.
So I feel like I should get that, and unfortunately he misses. So I'm like, shit, well now I've locked this guy down because I can't get around since I've got to follow the freaking pathway with how the pathing works in this. So now I'm starting to get a little bit tilted because I'm like, shit, this is not going well for me.
On our way.
So it's like, well, let's just finish off these paragons here. Do some attacks, and they split up their attacks. It's like usually they focus fire everybody down. And the one time I want them to do that, they don't. So now there's 2 models still left. And when you use the 100% auto hit, that only works with his railgun. It doesn't work with the missile.
Thrusters engaged.
So now I'm like, well,
Awaiting
who do I want to attack here? So I end up coming here, flaming this guy.
Evasive maneuvers.
And my thought process there was, well, if I come down and body block the point, I should be able to hold it, but then everybody else is going to get the kill, and then I'll have all those Seraphim attacking me. So I didn't think that made sense, so I'm like, whatever, I gotta just drop these Paragons here because of how I've stupidly moved everybody. Or else I'm going to get myself in trouble.
repositioning.
And I'm pulling these guys back to maximize their accuracy, but also to keep them away from the Seraphim. But I'm not going to be able to clear those Arcos off of this area due to how I've positioned these guys, so it's like he's now locked down that spot. So that's unfortunate. Because I definitely feel like I need to at least focus the Seraphim. I suppose alternatively I could have flamed the Arcos off and captured that point back to get a 4-1, but I've now left my other guy in this vulnerable position. So I thought, well, if I jump over here, I can now flame everybody and the hospital there, so at least I can do a little bit of damage.
Deny the way of the Taufa. Kill them all.
But obviously my guys are gonna die, so it's like, oh, he's only got a 36% chance to hit here. So it's like, well, let's pull back the cadre and just shoot into the Arcos, I guess. Killed a model.
With pride.
And I'll use the broadside to body block.
Ready for orders.
Of course. Stealth team reporting in.
And then what that'll give me the advantage to do is it's like I could kill those guys, but there's not really much there. I could flame her, but that's not going to do much for damage, but she's just gonna heal up the damage if I end up flaming the Sacred Saints. But I can now move
Nothing
the
shall serve
battle
against us.
suit over one, so that way he's not going to get a bunch of rear attacks. But I also wanted to try to keep my guys alive. So he comes down here, uses the Repentia to attack the commander, which makes perfect sense, but he gave her the bonus attack. So it not only gives you bonus HP, but it gives you an additional attack. And I think he forgets to use the attack, and he forgets to use their abilities. So everybody's coming over here to kill my commander. He's even unloading his stuff here to get the kill, but all this is unnecessary, so I don't know what his thought was. I think he just forgot to use the Repentia. But it's like now he's moved everybody over here to do this. He's running the Arcos down here to start doing some attacks here to lock those guys down. He throws his one little Arco on that spot here to take it. He's popping smoke. And he's unloading the rest of his Synchro Saints
Ready
here
for orders.
to lock that spot down.
Stealth team, reporting in.
So now it's like, well, how do I want to do this? It's like, well, maybe I can flame them. But even at the higher aspect, it would only be 50. So it's like, alright, now this guy is still freaking locked down here. I've got the Battle Sisters over here. I've still got those guys here.
Standing by.
I am here.
My ethereal is this way, so my thought process was as well, I can just move this guy around the back here, and then maybe I can get the kill, but I'm worried the sisters are going to come down and attack me. So I thought, well, 78%, that's got to be like a guaranteed kill, right? So I hit there, and it's like, well, we'll do it again. And he freaking missed his attack, so I should have just done it from the rear. But mistakes are happening here. It's like the jetpack is back up, so if I can kill those Arcos, I should be able to take that point back. Ideally, I'd like to take out the Seraphim, obviously, because they're the ones that are going to hurt me the most, but pretty much everybody's going to be dangerous right now.
Awaiting instructions. Pathfinder team on the move.
So it's like, let's just move you up here. And see, this is when I find out that I have a path up there. I didn't realize I had a path up that way. Just like how I didn't know there was a path along the side. So it's like, well, let's just try
Wherever
to
I am needed.
shoot these Arcoflagellants down, because if I can at least kill them, it'll let me move around a little easier. And that was a big old fail. So it's like, alright, well,
To the front
I guess
line.
that means I'm going to use the Cadre to try to shoot him down now. So hopefully he'll be able to land some shots. And it's like, oh my god, am I really not going to be able to kill these guys with all these attacks? And it's like, yep, he's got 10 health left.
It shall be.
Ready for orders.
So I run up here and it's like, alright, I've got 2 attacks to do 50 damage. I should be able to do this.
Moving targets.
And he's down. So it's like, alright, that wasn't terrible.
Confirmed.
So it's like, let's just jump over here. Take this point back. I thought maybe I can snipe down the hospital, but it's like with all that evasion and everything, it's not doing much.
Ready.
So I'm like, alright, he's got all these units over here. It's like I gotta snipe some of these heroes down. It's like his one Arcoflagellant is not going to do enough to make me worry.
What troubles you?
Calculating firing solutions.
It's like I got a 46% chance to hit with a 26 with a missile, an 80 against the Rhino. So I'm like, let's just roll the dice, baby. And he hits it. So I'm pretty pleased. It's like, alright, well at least I took out the Sister Superior, so he's not able to buff all of his guys. But now I'm like, why the hell can I get this attack now when I couldn't before? So I'm like, well now I'm kind of annoyed. Because that means it was just a positioning thing, and that's not true full cover. It's like, well, let's bring you over here, and then I can just keep flaming these guys down. I was hoping that since some had 49 health, that was going to give you enough to at least kill some of these guys, but it was not. At 15%, that's not going to get a kill.
Awaiting assignment.
How can I assist?
We're going to bring the cadre to just keep trying to hide these guys away.
Or Viola.
Pathfinder team on the move.
Bring the Pathfinders
Ready
over.
for orders.
It's like this guy's still viable. I'm not going to be able to hit the hospitaler. So it's like, well, maybe I just want to take out this Rhino. Because it's going to come to... Right now, we're so close with the points that it might make sense to just take out these ones so I can... get a victory point victory. Because right now, I'm in a bad spot with him having these Seraphim that are going to be ready to attack me here momentarily. And I still got this guy freaking stuck over that way. It's like I could move these guys over, but then he'll be able to run those Sisters of Battle around me and capture this point again. So it's like, well, maybe if I just spend a turn attacking these ladies here, I can kill enough of them to be able to hold this spot down. And it's like, well, it's only a 46% chance to hit. So let's do that. It's like, alright, we got 2 more down, so that's excellent. I'm going to turn them at this angle so that way nobody can get true rear attacks on these guys. My hope here is that he was going to just kill the Ghost Neil, and then it was going to explode and do damage to everybody. But instead he decides he wants to focus down the stealth suits, which makes sense, because he wants to capture that point back from me. But unfortunately for him, with all their buffs and everything, they're tanking everything. Whereas if he would have killed the Ghost Neil, it would have likely died because of the explosion damage. But thankfully I don't think he thought of that, so he's moving everybody over here to start attacking the stealth suits instead of the Ghost Neil.
Enemy resists.
Ghost Cal? I'm not sure how you say it actually. Keel? Cal? Ghost Cal? He's bringing the Rhino, the Hospitaler and the Rhino to try to protect her from getting sniped.
The enemy has been in sights.
And I think at this point in time he realizes, oh shit, why didn't I just shoot that ghost suit? And then I could have just killed it. But now he's moving everybody else around here to lock down my units.
Ready for orders.
It's like he's got his one little...
Calculating firing solutions.
It's like, well, I think we're going to just do double missile here
As you command.
so I can get this zone of control back again. And move my guys around. So it's like they're now down.
Stealth team, reporting in. On our
It's
way.
like, let's move you over here drop the
Thin
Arco,
them out.
come back here, body block that. You can now keep advancing,
Orders received.
kill the Battle Sister hopefully, which I do, and try to get you to advance up this way to hold this position. So now it's definitely in my favor.
What troubles you?
It's like, let's bring you here. You can now kill these guys. So they're now down. This guy could come
Artillery
up,
standing by.
and I have a chance to hit here. Not there, though. So it's like, maybe I'll just run you up here, because if I can kill that Rhino, I can then kill 2 units for the cost of 1.
How can I assist? Study your enemy's movements. Know where to be even before they do.
So it's like, let's attack here. Now, unfortunately, you don't quite have enough movement to get up here. It's like if I run all the way up there, I may be able to... Nope, he's on full cover.
Repositioning.
Still full cover.
We serve the greater good.
It's like, well,
Calculating firing solutions.
what I can do is use the missile strike, and we'll attack both of these guys. Although the Seraphim would be nice to attack as well. And ultimately I chose the Seraphim hoping that was going to do more damage. It's like, shit, you only have a 10% chance to hit.
Awaiting instructions.
So it's like, okay, well, what I'm going to do is I'll run these guys around the side.
Make every shot count.
I found your team on the roof.
And you can then kill the Rhino.
Overcharging the
And
reactor.
I definitely want to guarantee that I kill the Rhino so he doesn't just heal everything. So it's like they've now all been attacked. Pull this guy back.
Confirmed.
And then we're going to flame here, with the hope being that that'll be enough to kill the Seraphim and do enough damage to the Repentia, so if they kill that ghost suit, that'll blow up and kill them.
I am here.
And I'm trying to think of how I want to strategically place my guys to not get killed and to be able to capture these points. It's like, well, I'll just shoot one of them down, I guess.
For Viola.
Evasive maneuvers.
To the front line.
And now, unfortunately, I can't really see anybody, so I'm like, shit. Alright, well, I guess we're going to just keep focusing down these Seraphim. And these guys don't have much to attack, so it's like we'll try to attack here, but this is not going well.
Instructions received.
Again, we'll turn, so if he can hopefully have a zone of control there. We'll start bringing the Ethereal over this way to capture that point the following turn.
It shall be.
So I definitely made this unnecessarily difficult with my poor
Artillery
performance
standing
of
by.
movement here.
Repositioning.
And I'm just making sure I have the broadsides over this way, trying to protect my Ethereal. So they're coming down. That'll blow up and do damage and take out the Repentia. He's starting to fall back with his Seraphim, trying to keep him alive.
Sensors are picking up
But at this
possible
time in the game, it's just it should be a mad dash for command points. So I'm not sure if he was thinking he'll be able to fly in here and take it, but by pulling back, trying to keep those guys safe,
Awaiting assignment.
all he effectively did is guarantee that I can now move up here and start taking these points back since we're doing a 80-point target. Now, as you can see here, those Synchrosates definitely have a lot of resistance to flamer attacks. And it's like, well, let's just run you down this way. Take this back from them. So now we've got that spot.
Thin them out.
Shoot into their back here.
My faith protects me as much as my
Barely
power
do any damage.
To the front line.
It's like, well, let's just guarantee that the Pathfinders do some attacks then.
Pathfinder team on the move.
Put that on those guys since you already got a 100% chance to hit. Unfortunately, I really don't do much for damage there.
Confirmed.
It's like, well, maybe we can pick a couple off with our
Awaiting instructions.
What troubles you?
It's like, well, okay, what do I want to do here? It's like, I guess I can just shoot these guys.
Artillery standing by.
But with the guaranteed hit chance, at least the missiles will do a little AoE to do a little more damage. So it's like, let's just do that, I guess. So they're down to 2 models now. And then the broadside can come here and hold that down. And we'll bring these guys up here. I thought, oh, maybe he'll be able to get a kill of the Seraphim. So we start shooting here. And it's like, that was pathetic. That was much less than 50% chance. But it's like, alright, we did kill him, so that's good. And then I've still got the 2 attacks here, so I'm like, oh, this will be enough to kill these guys. But of course it's a charge attack and they have pistols, so the Ethereal gets himself suppressed, so now he can't attack. So it's like I can move up 1 and do it, or I can just double protect myself. So he comes down and smacks him with the mace. And gets a double attack because he's got the momentum, but he misses it. Runs down with his last Seraphim here, jumping into combat to shoot my Ethereal down. Punch that guy into the ground. And now we've taken victory. So, definitely a fun match. I think there were some sloppy plays on both sides, as you can see, kind of going through it here. Again, I think he forgot that he got that extra AP with the Sisters Repentia, although the one thing that might have happened there is he may have had to move that Repentia all the way over and used his action point to get into combat with the commander. So that might have been the alternative, and he didn't actually forget. I didn't count the squares, but I suppose giving him the benefit of the doubt that he didn't forget to use that action point, which I've definitely done before, or attack with my warriors when they get the bonus action point. Those are definitely painful lessons when you forget to do that. But that may have been an alternative option there. But I think if he definitely would have blown up the ghost there, he would have captured that point much easier. And had I done a lot more aggressive positioning in the beginning of the game with the stealth suit and the ghost on the left side, that would have made it much easier. And then using the whole point, I brought the Pathfinders forward so I could use the marker lights to get 100% chance to hit with the missiles, and I could have easily killed that hospitaller, and then I could have double flamed the 2 Seraphim down, which would have made a complete trouncing on this side, to use his term for it. And then I would have still lost the commander, but everybody else would have had a much easier time, and I would have been able to hold this down. I think the other thing that's real smart is when you're playing as the Tau against especially the Adeptus Sororitas, is you know they're going to have Seraphim with the Infernal pistols, so I think you may want to just hold on to your missile attack until you can take out one of those Seraphim, because they're so hard to kill with your other ranged units. And they do such good damage against all of your forces that you definitely want to focus them down instead of like the Arcoflagellants, which is what I did. So in retrospect, I wish I would have kind of done that a little bit cleaner. and then obviously focusing down the paragons so you can kill them. Otherwise they're getting to launch those missiles on you multiple times. I think instead of him using those missiles on my stealth suits, he should have used them to take out the pathfinders, and that would have completely neutered some of my late game abilities, because those pathfinders did a lot of damage for us. And then kind of positioning your stealth suits in a way so they can't get rear attacks with melee units, because as you can see they have a ridiculous tankiness here. I definitely wish it would get nerfed, because the fact that they have so much armor and they get a damage reduction, they should either have less armor, because I think they have 6 right now, and that's way too much. I mean, that's the equivalent of a heavily armored Space Marine unit, so I mean, and more than like some of the light vehicles. So just kind of ridiculous how they do that, especially when they have a 15% damage reduction with the shield drones as well. It's just too much for them. Using the flamers, I think, to clear out a lot of the weaker forces. It does take 2 flame attacks to kill the arcoflagellants, so just be aware of that. And then your stealth suits also have the jump pack ability, so you're able to run all over the battlefield to capture those points from them. Works out well. The broadsides obviously have excellent ability to snipe down and counter the Adeptus Sororitas, because they're either going to have transport rhinos or they're going to have a lot of heroes, because the heroes are how they get their buffs. So if you can snipe those bad girls down, it totally takes away half of the benefit that the Adeptus Sororitas have, and really affects them. The one downside is if you kill the canoness right away, which I typically recommend that you do, it does give increased momentum bonus for the rest of all the units, so that could definitely turn against you if you're continually attacking units and not killing them completely, because they're just going to have so much momentum. They're going to have all these bonus attacks, so you got to be real careful about that when you're fighting the Adeptus Sororitas, because that can quickly get out of hand. The cadres do okay damage against heavily armored stuff, but as you saw against weak infantry, they really didn't pay off for me. The big thing is if you're going to have a lot of infantry like breachers, pathfinders, they give you plus 20% attacks, and then you can give the auto hit to your broadsides or, you know, hammerheads, other important forces that you're going to use, or, you know, pathfinders, if you're going to use their charge attack, would definitely be good, especially if you're sniping down like a bloodthirster, transport vehicle, any of those things. So hopefully that, and I kind of talked about the way the opponent played with some of his positioning, you know, using that explosion to his advantage, taking advantage of the bonus attacks. The Sanker Saints, as you can see, are definitely very good tanky units, but kind of positioning them in a way that they can hold the strategic points down. The thing that he kept doing is he kept leaving the strategic points open for me to just run around in there and capture it from behind him. Had he just planted those arcoflagellants on that strategic point, planted the Sanker Saints on the strategic point, I would have had a lot more difficult time capturing these points back, and ended up taking the victory from them here, especially with those misplays with the positioning that I did at the very start. So that could have definitely worked out in his favor, because as you can see, it was actually a pretty close game with those errors that each of us did. So thanks for watching. I hope you're enjoying these videos. If you are, please give my channel a like and subscribe to encourage me to post more content for you. Have a great day.